So hello guys and welcome to CodeFlix. So today we are going to see the client and server relationship, and then we will see how to make a server in Node.js. So basically client and server have a relationship of request and response in between them. So a client requests a page using a URL or an API, and then the server finds the page from the database using the address provided by the client, which is in the form of a URL or an API. And then when the server finds the data from the database, the server responds that page to the client. So for example, if client comes to the server and demands the data of weather for a particular city, so the server, what it does, it goes to the database and then finds the data of that particular city, the data of weather of that particular city. And then when the server finds the data, it responds the data of that particular city in the form of JSON or XML to the client. If the server finds the data, it responds with a code 200, and when it does not find, it responds with an error 404, which means that the server could not find the page requested by the client. So in simple terms, we can say that a server is the one which provides a service to the client or to many clients, and a client is the one which utilizes or consumes the service provided by the server. The client utilizes the service in the form of the page which it gets in the response of the server. So now we'll see how to make a server in Node.js. So now we'll see how to create a server in Node.js. So first of all, we'll go to the Node.js folder which we have created in the desktop. Then we'll open the app.js file. Here it is the code of the hello world program. So we'll remove that. Then we'll write or we'll import a module named HTTP in a variable HTTP. So we'll write variable HTTP equals require. We will get the module named HTTP using the require method. So what is HTTP module? So HTTP module is used to make request on the HTTP, which stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So the HTTP module is used to transfer and get the data from the server on the HTTP module. So now we'll create the server using the create server method. So we'll make a variable called server. Then we'll use the HTTP module to use the create server method. Now the create server method has a function, and this function has two arguments. The first one is the request and the second one is the response. So the request is the one which the client makes to the server, and response is the one which takes the server to the database, finds the page, and then the server responds it to the client. So RES stands for response and REQ stands for the request. So we'll take curly braces. Then we'll write RES, which stands for response, dot write head. So write head stands for the header, which the server will give it back to the client. So we'll give the status 200, which stands for the correct status that the server found the page. If the status is 200, the content will be shown to the client, and that will be, we'll use the the curly braces, then the quotes, content type, which is the type of the content which is to be shown. For now we'll keep it text and plain. So what does this mean? So text and plain means that the response which the server will give, it will be a plain text response or just a simple text which will be responded. Then we'll end the server, which the creation of the server will be end by res, or we can say response dot end. And while ending, we'll show a message on the page, let's say hello world, to the client. So this is the message which will be shown to the client when he will open the page. So Now we have created the create server method. Then we will make a server which will listen on an XYZ port. Let's say we'll make a server which will listen on port 3000. So for that we'll write server dot listen, and then we'll give the port number which is 3000, and then we'll give the URL of the localhost which is 127.0.0.1. So this is the URL of the localhost which we have to provide if we want to run our app locally. Then we want to check if our server is running or not. Then we'll give a console message to the CMD. So it will give console.log. Then we can say now the server is listening on port 3000. So this will be the message which will be responded when the server will start listening for the client request. So we'll save that and we'll open the command prompt. Then we'll go to the location which is cd desktop, the location where the file is saved, node.js folder. Then we'll write node space the name of the file app.js, or just app is fine. So now as you can see the server is listening on port 3000. Now we'll open a browser and write the address of localhost 127.0.0.1 colon 3100 3000, which is the port number. And then we can see the message hello world, which the server has responded to the client. Now even if we give any other request, then also it is saying hello world the same, or suppose we change it to hi, still the output is the same. Now if we want to see what the requests are made by the client, then we'll go to our code and write here console.log, and then we'll write the request made is, and then we'll use a method called request dot url, which is this will respond the URL which the client makes to the server. So we'll go to the CMD, we'll stop this server and again run our program. So as you can see the program is running again. Then we'll make a request, we'll run the app again 127 hello world, it is running. So as you can see a slash, which is no request is made right now, so only a slash and a favicon.ico. So what is that? So favicon is this icon which is shown on the top bar, but we haven't made any favicon, so it will show a request. So two requests are made. First is on the status 200, which is this one, and on the status 404, which is the favicon.ico request. Now let's say we make another request for hey, let's say, and we see in the command prompt. Then also it is making two requests, first for the hey, then for the favicon. So how to remove this irritating favicon? So to remove that, we'll go to our code and then write an if statement. This if statement will be if request dot url not equal to, and then in quotes we'll write slash favicon dot ico, the request which is making. Then we'll make the parenthesis one before and one after the console statement, and then save this program. And when we'll run again, now server is listening to port 3000. Then we'll again run our program on the browser and see the request is made for a single slash. Then if we make request for say CodeFlix and see a request for CodeFlix is made. So as you can see the favicon is request is removed. So this is how you can make a server in Node.js.